Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Emmanuel, I'm an airline pilot, and today we are going back in time to the good old days of the MD-11 once again, and to our favorite German holiday airline LTU. Now, they used the MD-11 for 7 years, flying it in an almost all-economy configuration with over 400 passengers on board in the most dense configuration of all. So today we are taking 411 holidaymakers from Munich to Palma de Mallorca, which is one of those flights that LTU operated on the MD-11 back in the day, on top of their main operating base over at Düsseldorf. It's wonderful weather, clear skies pretty much all around, and we do expect some wonderful views on the way as well. But for now, let's take a seat and we are going to do a quick review of our flight plan over here before we are going to start preparing our flight setup. So we are gonna start right over here on SimBrief, and as you can see, our scheduled departure time is 10 UTC, Munich to Palma, in the Delta Alpha Echo Romeo Whiskey in MD-11. Planned flight level 370, we'll probably ignore that last step climb over here. As you can see, Bayonne is located just over here prior to our top of descent, so not really worth it. Going into the briefing then, let's have a look at the briefing PDF, and our route of flight takes us south from Munich across the Alps and then across roundabout Genoa over to the Mediterranean and over Menorca into Mallorca. Significant weather chart, as you can see, is all clear all around, nothing to worry about. And finally having a look into the airport weather. Couple of SIGMETs in the area of Munich for thunderstorms to build up over the course of the day, but the current weather conditions, KVOC stays KVOC. Only during the evening and the night hours we are going to get significant thunderstorms down here, but by that time we'll hopefully be in bed all along. Our destination Mallorca, very good, KVOC 34 degrees, variable winds, and our alternate Ibiza likewise, developing a little bit of bad weather over the night, but that's not going to be our problem. Alright, so all of that out of the way, let's go ahead and make a fuel decision. They want us to carry 21.2 tons. I'd say if we round that up to 22 tons, we should be good to go. Finally, looking at our weights over here, we can see that this brings our takeoff weight just about to 200 tons. Landing weight is in the region of 187 tons-ish, and the zero fuel weight 179.1 tons. Cost NX 100 is planned, flight level 370, and I think that concludes our briefing. So let's go ahead and take a seat in our wonderful MD-11. As always, we're going to start from the FO seat, as the FO is the one who has to perform most of the procedures here. So the logbook is checked, we're aware of the engine 2 start issue if the APU is shut down too early. Circuit breakers are all in. Emergency equipment is checked, weather radar is switched off, fuel switch is down, park and brake. Well, the chocks are in place, so we don't need the park and brake just yet. Landing gear lever down, and the slat and flaps handles are retracted, spoiler handle is retracted. Okay, fuel dump and manifold drain switches are both guarded, emergency power selector in the off position, and then we can turn on the battery. Okay, external power is available and going on right now. Display is coming up right down here, temperature 30 degrees, so we are definitely going to start up the APU here.
Engine 1, fire. Engine 2, fire. Engine 3, fire.
Alright, fire test looking good. Let's go ahead and start that APU. Okay then. Next up we'll do the annunciator light test.
Overspeed.
And that is looking good.
Overspeed.
Then we can turn on the IRSs, which also does the cargo fire test. And that is both confirmed. Okay then, so MD-11, current database, and we are going from Echo Delta Delta Mike towards Lima Echo Papa Alpha. Okay, insert that up here. The coordinates are looking sensible. Initialize IRS. And that is looking good for now. Okay, that stuff out of the way, let's go ahead and call for GSX. Request boarding, please. And that's on the way. Well, and then we can do our pre-flight checks. So that's all good. Hydraulic system test. Is in progress. Right, going down further, APU is showing a veil, so let's turn the APU bleeds on as well, so that it's going to be rather warm for our guests when they get here. Okay, and finally going down this side here.
Glide slow. Pull up. Terrain.
Alright, before we continue the scan flow, let's go ahead and import that flight plan, please.
Pull up. Terrain.
And then, payloads.
No
Passengers. Well, I'll tell you what, we'll just do it via the zero fuel weight scheme here, that's just easier.
Too low.
So we're looking at 179,084, and for the fuel we wanted to take 22 tons.
Too low. Terrain.
That looks good. Set payload.
Caution. Terrain.
Alright, here we go.
Terrain. Pull up. Pull up.
Yeah, you should be done in a moment. Alright, QNH 1013 seems correct. The airport elevation is fine. Over here we can observe the hydraulic system test in progress. Make sure our standby is carefully aligned, as it is now. Alright, and then going down here we can set our standard IFR squawk 2000 and set the TCAS to above. The trims are centered, and that's already it. Fine, that basically completes the first officer's procedure, so let's go over to the captain's seat now. Oxygen mask test unfortunately is not simulated here. Traffic data, airport, both VORs, QNH 1013, the minimums can already go to Barrow as well. Okay, and then we can start with our FMS setup. So FMC1, MD-11, current database, we had that part. Munich to Palma, alternate is gonna be Ibiza. Flight number LTU086. Here we go, cruise level 370, cost index 100. And then we can start with our route. So we're going to depart Munich off runway 26 left. And our departure today is going to be the turbo departure. And, well, normally they want us to fly the Whiskey. But I tell you, today we are so light, we can easily do the 7 Sierra, which is going to be just that bit quicker. So turbo 7 Sierra, towards turbo. Then Airways, Yankee 107, towards Topsail. Here we go. Okay, out of Topsail we have a couple directs. The first one is Barcor. Then we continue with PDAT. On towards Taleb. And Tarjef. And direct to Berlin. And from there, Upper Tango 250 Rixot, and from there we are going to join the arrival already. So, UT 250 and towards Rixot. Here we go. Insert that thing. Alright, for the arrival it's going to be an ILS Zulu approach, runway 24 left. That's the standard you can expect over there. Rixot 1 Papa arrival. Oh man, certainly too many arrivals in here. But here we go. Rixot 1 Papa out of Cap de Pera. Okay, insert. Let's go ahead and review that on the plan page. Okay, departing straight out to the left. That's the wrong button there. Here we go. Alright, and that looks pretty much like what I'd expect. Okay then, let's go ahead and add our engine out waypoint, Muk X4. And that's going to be EDDM /260/25. Here we go, enter, secondary flight plan. And that one is going to be from Munich to Munich. Like this. Okay, engine out waypoint into here, and that's gonna be it for now. Okay, so progress 703 nautical miles versus 722 according to the flight plan. That's good enough for me, and that basically is it. Don't need anything on the nav radios over here. Well, okay, so that's that part completed. Hydraulic system test is done as well now. Nothing miscellaneous. The status page is expected. Alright, that's looking good. So, with all of that out of the way, are you ready for the departure briefing? Okay, so I tell you what, I kinda prefer to do it the Airbus way, so it's your turn then. Okay, if that's what you say, then that's what we do. Okay, so takeoff runway 26 left via the Turbo 7 Sierra departure. First cleared altitude is going to be 70. MSA for the climb 3,700. Extra fuel and time, we have approximately 1,000 kilos, that's about 5 minutes. Alright, excellent. So, no hotspots for the planned taxi route. Stop margin for rejected takeoff is plenty. EOS it straight ahead, Munich X4, pick up the hold over there. An immediate return is possible to Munich. We are above the maximum landing weight, we're about 15 tons, so we gotta read the overweight landing checklist, but that's really it. Nothing special, nothing non-standard over here. You have any threats? No? Me neither. Excellent, so that's our briefing completed. Let's have a look at what the services are doing. So looks like loading is finished down there. What about boarding? Boarding now. Okay, that's fine. Alright, so in that case, let's go ahead with our performance, please. This looks pretty much good already. So we've got 201.1. Okay, performance Munich, runway 26 left, 4,000 meters is correct. Let's get the weather automatically from the sim. That's looking good. We can also get the weight from the sim. Flex takeoff, no anti-ice, optimum flaps, packs. Let's keep them on. It's pretty hot outside. We don't want the cabin to heat up too much. So flaps 18.3. Oh boy, 59 degrees flaps. Okay, so we're going to take over those numbers over here. So 27.7 and 27.8. Okay, so what do we have? Packs on, flex 59, flaps, they wanted 18.3. Like, how weird can a flap setting be? With a decimal setting even. Okay, fair enough though. 18.3, something like that, I suppose. Okay, so runway slope is -1 and the wind is 0. Temperature 30 degrees centigrade. So reduction in acceleration we'll do 2,500 each. Oh no, not an Airbus. Reduction 2,500, acceleration 2,500. Looking good. Flap setting 18.3. Look at that, there's even a field for a decimal in there. Stabilizer trim 4.9 and the takeoff speeds 131, 146, 158. So slight discrepancy there. 131, 146, 158. Clean speed 239. So with slats retracted 213. We have a 210 knot restriction on the departure initially. Not a problem. We'll keep the slats extended then for the initial part of the climb, and that's about it. Okay. So, just wondering, it says door open, but can I actually see which door it is? Those two are not operational. I don't think there actually is an overview of the doors in the MD-11, is there? It surely doesn't look like it. Okay. So be it. But I think the doors just disappeared, so... no, still there. Okay, fine. I'm gonna keep the status page over here, we can see it easier. Alright. Let's already go ahead and prepare pushback, so that once boarding is completed, we can go. In the meantime, what do we have here? Altitude can go to 7,000. Heading can go to the runway heading 260. Here we go, that's looking good. And we'll take both nav and profile modes. Alright. Well, the last couple of passengers are still boarding, but I tell you what, in order not to gather too much delay, I'll say hello already. Sehr geehrte Damen und Herren, einen wunderschönen guten Morgen aus dem Cockpit. Hier spricht Ihr Kapitän. Mein Name ist Emanuel, im Namen der LTU darf ich Sie ganz herzlich an Bord unserer MD-11 auf diesem Flug LTU 086 nach Palma de Mallorca begrüßen. Flugzeit heute 1 Stunde 45, erwarten einen ruhigen Flug in 37.000 Fuß Höhe. Wir bedanken uns herzlich, dass Sie heute unsere Gäste sind. Lehnen Sie sich zurück, genießen Sie den Flug mit uns und wenn es etwas gibt, womit wir Ihnen den schöner gestalten können, zögern Sie bitte nicht, sich an unsere charmante Kabinenbesatzung zu wenden. Vielen Dank für Ihre Aufmerksamkeit und noch einmal herzlich willkommen an Bord. Ladies and gentlemen, a very warm welcome on board this LTU flight 086 from Munich to Palma de Mallorca. My name is Emanuel and I am your captain today. With me on the flight deck a lot of anxious first officers who can't wait to fly this beautiful MD-11 over to Palma. The flight time is going to be 1 hour and 45 minutes. We're expecting good weather conditions along the route and some beautiful views of Italy and the Alps along our way. With all of that, I would like to thank you very much for being our guests today. Sit back, relax, enjoy the flight with us, and if there is anything else we can do for you to make your flight more comfortable, please do not hesitate to ask any of our charming cabin crew. Once again, welcome aboard. Okay, so passengers are dealt with. Then let's go ahead and prepare our aircraft so that we can at least conclude with the cockpit checklist by now. Just gotta plug in a joystick over here. Yeah, keep default please. Thank you very much. Resume flight. So, takeoff config check is working. Cockpit checklist please. Gear pins removed. Pitot-static checked. Cabin signs on. FCP set. Speed band. Taxi 31 4658. Altimeters 1013 reading 1500. Fuel 22,000 kilograms. System status checked. System modes automatic. Takeoff data inserted. Auto brake. Takeoff warning checked. Flap takeoff selector 18.3. Cockpit checklist complete. Okay, so it's basically just a matter of awaiting the completion of the boarding now. Looks like they are done loading up the cargo. Have any useful information on the guidance system? No. Okay, what was always worth a try. Sometimes GSX does show us something over there. Okay, in the meantime we're running on APU power, so the external can go. Services, GPU, disconnect. And let's go ahead and set the parking brake, please. Then we can remove the chocks as well. So just the boarding to be completed over here, and it should be any moment now. Alright, apart from that, is there anything left that we haven't done? Not really. What we can do is to pick some charts over here, even though I am not completely happy with that system just yet. They could definitely improve that a little bit further. But nonetheless, let's go ahead and grab the taxi chart over here. Well, can't see anything on there, so parking stands west then, parking down here. Initially pushback is going to be onto Echo, which is the one over here, Echo 1, then taxi via Charlie 5, Sierra 6, and then via Sierra all the way to the holding point. And that's our plan for the departure today. Right, I guess I'll just have to stick with the taxi chart here, in the absence of any further zoom possibilities, which is really unfortunate. But anyway, standing here, push on here, taxi out is gonna be like this. Alright. So, just awaiting GSX now. If any status update, I'll tell you what, reset position. Let's just go ahead and, oh come on Quaddle, restart. We'll do it that way, that's just a little bit quicker. So, it's 9:59, that means pushback is supposed to be in a minute. Alright, prepare for pushback and departure. Handling by Swissport, that at least explains the delay straight away then. And look at that, all of a sudden here we have our information that I've been looking for. MD-11, Palma, flight 086, departure scheduled to be now. Runway 26 left, turbo, well 7 whiskey is not correct, it's just pulling that data from SimBrief unfortunately. Could be a little bit nicer if they actually pulled the data properly, but well, we'll have to live with this. Okay, in any case, let's go ahead with our preparation please. So, papers are on board, the IRS is aligned. Well then, let's go. Hydraulic pump on, beacon light on, engine ignition system A. We used B on the last one. Alright, before start checklist please. Cabin secured, mobiles off, engine ignition, A, beacon on, system modes, auto, park and brake, set, before start checklist complete. So, just to be sure that the doors are all closed now, here we go. Ground from cockpit. Go ahead. So, please confirm all doors and hatches are closed, ground equipment is removed, and bypass pin is installed. That's all confirmed. Thank you very much. So, you're clear to push facing south, Echo 1, park and brake set. Roger, release park and brake, please. Park and brake released. Roger, brake released, start on the push, and you're clear to start all engines in sequence. Roger. Okay then. We'll push on to the middle of the 3 taxiway lines. A little bit hard to see from here. You can see the orange over there, blue is over there. We'll go onto the center line. That's simply what we have to do with the wide body. Okay, flight at ground, you're clear to start engines. Roger, 3, 1, 2 in that sequence. Starting 3. Clear 3. And 2. Oil pressure. And 1. We have a good start on 3, starting 1. Clear 1. Okay, and 2. Oil pressure. And 1. So, how much further back is he pushing us? We gotta taxi it back all the way. Push complete, set brakes. Brake set. Starting 2. Clear 2. Okay, and 2. Oil pressure. And 1. Fuel on. Okay, looks like we are getting a good start there, but we gotta wait until the engine is completely stabilized. Otherwise, we are... Otherwise, if we shut down the APU too early, that engine is just gonna go off again. A little bug in the current version of the MD-11. Should be fixed soon. Okay, the tuck is gone. Okay, that looks like a stabilized engine to me. So, anti-ice off, APU air off, and APU itself, quick check, off. Right, the clear signal is received down there after start checklist. APU off, anti-ice off, system modes auto after start checklist complete. So, he is seen. Let's go for taxi. Brakes off. So, as briefed, we'll go straight out, right-hand turn, left turn over the bridge over there, and then left onto the parallel taxiway. Now, getting those turns right is always a little bit of a challenge in the MD-11, since the tiller behaves so completely different from what I'm used to from other aircraft. But with a little bit of practice, we can master this. Okay, the right side is clear, the left side is clear. Okay, that might have been too late for the turn. Come on, airplane. This is a full tiller input right now, huh? This is full input. Really gotta start those turns very, very early here in order for the plane to respond. I don't think that's realistic. I do hope TFDI is gonna do something about that. And you could just see we needed like 45% N1 to get the airplane through the turn like that. Well, something they could improve on, that's for sure. Okay, clear on the right side, clear on the left side, and here we go with the next turn. This time I'm starting the turn a little bit earlier. This is much earlier than I would start to turn in the real world, but since this is a full tiller input again, sometimes it helps if you pump it a bit to get some stricter steering here, but that doesn't really look right to me. Okay. Well, here we are, then. Flaps 18.3, please. Okay, ready for the flight control check? Full up. Full down. Neutral. Full left. Full right. Neutral. And the rudder is responding. I'm just not gonna mess with it, otherwise we'll just end up in the grass. Okay, stabilizer trim should go to 4.9. Should it? Yeah, 4.9. Can monitor it up here. A little bit hard to see right now due to those colors. But here we go, 4.9 is set. Okay, cabin report received. Takeoff data 3140. What's that? Hard to read here. 4658 is confirmed. FMS speed management. And I have no changes to the takeoff briefing. Takeoff checklist, please. Flight controls checked. Flaps 18.3. Spoilers armed. Trim 4.9, 0 and 0. EAD checked. Takeoff checklist complete. Just got one warning down there, Ilac. Let's see what that is about. Emergency power switch off. Something we can correct for sure. And while we're on it, I just noticed that we didn't enter the passenger load. 411, there it is. Okay, looking good. With all of that out of the way, I'd say we're good to go. Let's turn on the TCAS to check if there is anyone on approach right now. Nope, there isn't. Excellent. In that case, line up. Cabin crew, prepare for departure. Clear right side. Clear left side. Interesting, now there's an aircraft on the runway. He sure enough wasn't there when we looked out during the lineup. Well, we'll just hold position then until he's off. What's he doing there anyway? Standing around. Nice. That's what you're supposed to do on a runway. Oh, the beautiful MSFS AI. Sometimes I just love it. Alright, here we go, he's turning. And the next one's coming. Why is the AI operating opposite side? The wind is 360 at 5. Why is the AI approaching 08? I suppose we don't have to understand it. In any case, I'm auto flight, take off. Thrust set. 80 knots. Checked. V1. Rotate. Positive climb. Gear up. I just love that rate of climb, huh? Okay, accelerating 210 knots. Flap 0. Speed checked. Alright, we'll continue our climb a little bit over here already. Say level 190. Set standard. Standard cross check, passing flight level 54 now. Checked. Let's start the acceleration here already. So let's retract. Speed checked.
Stabilizer motion.
Checked. Okay, here we go. This is looking quite good. Autopilot on. I love it when the plane just makes no movement at all when the autopilot is engaged. That's it. That means we've flown the plane exactly as we should have. I like it. Okay, so there's this one. And on the overhead panel, nose lights off, turn off lights are off. Logo light is supposed to be off, and that's it. Looks very good. So, approaching 10,000, we have a 250 restriction over autospec, so no surprises that it doesn't accelerate just yet. We'll wait with the seatbelts until the pitch is below 7 degrees. But just to show you how huge of an airplane this actually is. By the way, simulating flight in the good old days over here. LTU sold their MD-11s in 1998, so we can leave the flight deck door open here. So just look at how incredibly long this airplane is. Now imagine if you released the cabin crew, they went through here with a trolley, the trolley gets loose and accelerates all the way to the back. I can tell you, something is gonna happen somewhere over there, which is going to be very unhealthy for someone. For that reason, we'll just go back over here. And, well, now the seatbelts can be turned off. Okay, looking good. So with that, we're on the way. Climbing to our cruising level. Talk about cruising level, by the way. First of all, we can reset that timer here. Don't need that anymore. How can we actually reset that to show the elapsed time? Well, I don't know, I don't need to know. It'll come. Okay, so arrival in Palma at 11:48 versus a scheduled arrival time at 12:15. So we're running good. 10 tons expected, that's good as well. Then let's see, performance optimum 350, maximum 401. I don't really trust the optimum table yet. If SimBrief says 370, then we'll go 370. With a maximum at 401, that does seem more logical to me as well. At least I would say so. Let's do 370. Set. So, climb thrust 370. Alright then. All of that stuff done. Not much more to do right now. So I'd say I see you over in Palma. Enjoy the beautiful views. so, we're already just 40 nautical miles from our top of descent. And wow, just in the air for 1 hour and 6 minutes. Now this is certainly one of the quicker arrivals. Well, on the other hand side, we have mainly flown long haul over the last month or so. So couple quicker flights certainly are not going to hurt. Alright, let's see how well the charts work this time. So we are going for Palma de Mallorca. What have I done now? Interesting. For some reason, the simulator paused, even though I only entered some text over here. And now it can't find the charts. Well, that's strange. Well, that looks better. Alright, so let's see, we're looking for Rixot 1 Papa, and that's on this chart over here. So Rixot, below level 230, let's go ahead and have a look. And indeed, that's Rixot below 230. Then 20 miles prior Cap de Pera, slew point, maximum 250 knots. That's correct, 20 miles over here. Inbound to Cap de Pera, and from there we are going to join the ILS approach for the ILS Zulu, runway 24 left. Here it is. So out of Cap de Pera towards Bavoum, Obumu, and then we've got the descent point at 7.5 DME India Papa Alpha Lima. So that's pretty much like this. Missed approach, climb on runway heading to 420 feet, turn left, knot before radial 193 JOA, max 185 knots, follow radial 193 JOA, climb to 3000, contact ATC. And that's pretty much what we have done here, looking good. Okay, so we can certainly tune JOA then on 193 radial. Like that. ILS frequency should be automatically tuned later on. 10.2 tons on arrival, so we are burning 1.6, which gives us a landing weight of 189.3. Let's do some performance then. Landing in Palma, runway 24 left, dry, get the weather, and we said what did I just say? 189.3. Auto brakes low, reverser all, flaps 35, calculate. Alright, so that's probably going to be the second exit then. Just for reference here, what would we get with auto brake medium? It's probably a bit nicer, huh? Tell you what, we'll do auto brake medium. Here we go. Takeoff approach, flaps 35 for landing is selected, and the rest is looking good. Okay. So that's this part done already. Let's go ahead and do the approach briefing. Well, first of all, let's go ahead and set that minimum to 50. Here we go, that's looking better. Okay, your call for the briefing then. Excellent, so with an MSA in the south of 3,000 feet, we are coming in via the Rixot 1 Papa arrival for an ILS Zulu approach, runway 24 left. Minimum's 250, go around straight at 400 feet, radial 193. JOA, turn left onto the 193 course, climbing 3000. Extra fuel and time, we have about 15 minutes. Yep, that sounds about like it. Okay, so guidance is going to be an ILS approach, landing flaps 35, stop margin 600 meters. Reversers idle, auto brakes medium, planned runway exit is probably the second one, so Sierra 2. And for the taxi in, don't really have any hotspots. Nothing special, non-standard. Their taxi instructions can be a little strange if you're not used to them. Let's have a quick look at that. Come on, scroll down please. Here we go, so if we look at the parking stand charts, we're going to vacate down here, Sierra 2, And if they don't say anything, we make a right-hand turn onto the south taxiway. And we'll probably enter the apron up here. I think that's Juliet, isn't it? Would be nice if that was actually written on here, but I think that's Juliet down there. So we're gonna enter the apron over here. And then parking stand 54. Any questions on that? No? Excellent.
Altitude.
Let's dial down the altitude. We'll start at 10,000 initially. Leaving our cruising altitude any moment now. And I'll do a quick PA to our guests. You have control and your radio. Ladies and gentlemen from the flight deck, this is your captain speaking. We have just started our descent towards our destination, remaining flight time now about 20 to 25 minutes. The weather in Mallorca at the moment, really nice, temperatures 32 degrees and just a few clouds at the sky. Would like to thank you very much for choosing LTU today. Hope you have enjoyed your stay. Most importantly, wish you unforgettable holidays, and we hope to see you again on board of a future scheduled flight. Thank you very much for your attention, and we wish you wonderful holidays. Sehr geehrte Damen und Herren, aus dem Cockpit hier Kapitän. Wir haben den Sinkflug in Richtung Mallorca eingeleitet, jetzt noch etwa 20 bis 25 Minuten Flugzeit, je nach der lokalen Verkehrslage. Das Wetter aktuell, einige Wolken, die Temperatur 32 Grad. Wir bedanken uns herzlich, dass Sie unsere Gäste waren, wünschen Ihnen einen schönen Aufenthalt und gegebenenfalls eine gute und sichere Weiterreise, aber allen voran einen unvergesslichen Urlaub. Vielen Dank für Ihre Aufmerksamkeit und wir hoffen, Sie dann in einigen Wochen auch wieder nach Hause begleiten zu dürfen. Vielen Dank. I have control. Okay, so that's our passengers dealt with. Now, for the descent, there is not all that much that's gonna happen. So what I'm gonna do, I'll just speed this up a little bit, put on a little bit of time acceleration. This is 4x right now. You might have noticed that in the cruise the airplane went a tiny bit up and down. That is because I filmed the flight using 4x time acceleration. As you can see, the plane is mostly stable. It's certainly flyable like that if you want to do a long haul on an evening. But they could improve the altitude tracking a tiny bit there. You might have seen that on the previous flight from Montreal to Amsterdam as well. In any case, as you can see in climb and descent, it is very stable, so that's a very good job there. And overall the plane just starts coming together pretty nicely. A few things here and there that I hope they can improve upon, but it's mostly really coming together as a nice and solid add-on. Now, obviously this is not study level, not even close to anything like what PMDG, Phoenix or Leonardo are doing, but on the other hand side it is going, it's really a step in the right direction. I'd put it on a similar level as the Inibals A310 with a little bit more development time that still has to come up. And my apologies, of course I meant the Inibals A300, not the A310. Oh, interesting, what's it doing there? Okay, speed come back to 50, well that's a bit early, the deceleration point is only in 50 miles. I just said it was a good airplane, did I? Okay, doesn't matter, back up to 300 knots. Right, idle clamp. Oh, that's a bit serious pitch there, minus 10 degrees. But here we go, 300 knots achieved again. That's interesting. Looks like it's putting that speed restriction active as soon as the waypoint goes active. But about 50 miles out. Definitely not what the real airplane would do. I'm 100% certain of that. Without having a type rating on it. But well, it doesn't matter. We'll just fly it down like this. It looks like the profile is calculated a bit low here anyway. Let's do minus 1000. Just look at how nicely the autopilot handles that, even with time acceleration here. It's actually pretty cool. Well, that's perhaps going a little bit fast here. Let's bring that back to real time for a moment. Here we go, that's what it's supposed to look like. So, Menorca. If you want to go to the Balearics but you're not into partying at all, then this is probably your place to go. Now, there are not many beautiful beaches on this island, but those that there are are definitely not as well known, so this is all a little bit more relaxed, a little bit more, well, a little bit slower pace, and overall just a bit, well, just a bit more relaxed than Mallorca is, or Ibiza for that matter of fact. The airport is somewhere over there, I believe. Alright. Back into the flight deck then, reaching 10,000. Let's bring it back to FMS guidance here. Speed coming back. We'll just level off for a moment here. Still 40 miles to run till Bavoum, so probably brought it in a little bit slower than I would have liked. I thought the VNAV path just went into a lesser descent because it tried to reduce the speed towards 250. It would have made sense if you think about it, but it looks like it didn't, so in any case, reaching a slew point here in 6 miles. Speed is running back towards 250, or 245 actually, as we're in 10,000 now. So that is good. Right, let's make it a small shortcut over here, direct to Bavoum, which is something that without traffic in the area you would absolutely get in the real Mallorca as well. And here we go. So now the question is, does the plane tell us anywhere what our current vertical path... Oh yeah, here it is. About 6,000 low. Yeah, that's not too bad. What does the 4 short stand for over here? That's a good question. Now it tells varying between 4 and 5. If you know what that one means, by all means do put it in the comments below. I would certainly be interested in this. Alright, in the meantime, let's go ahead and start a shallow descent over here. Going down somewhere like level 70. 1,000 feet a minute, should be good. Interesting, it just went at altitude hold again. Let's dial that down once again. Here we go, vertical speed 7,000. I have to admit, I'm not 100% sure of how that autoflight system works there yet. Sometimes it just reverts to previous inputs, where I just don't understand why it's doing so. Perhaps that's something that, I don't know, either something I just don't understand yet, which might very well be the case, or something where TFDI needs to improve on, which might as well very well be the case. Well, either way, it's an interesting logic, and it's certainly an interesting system logic there. Right, I tell you what, this would just be flying straight for a long time here. Let's put a bit of acceleration on again. Let's go back to 4x time acceleration here, just to get a bit closer, because otherwise this would just be, well, I don't want to say boring, but boring? Yeah, probably. Okay, 1,000 to go. Especially over the water. Once we're getting closer to the island like now, that's definitely where we can return to real time then.
Altitude.
As things will be more interesting over here. Right, level in 7,000. Alright, back to real time. So, an hour and 29 in the air, so probably an hour and 35 to an hour and 40 till we're on the ground. 10 tons of fuel on board here as predicted, even though we are definitely going to burn a little bit more before landing, so that 10-ton estimate was a slight bit off. 9.7, yeah, that probably looks more like it. 400 kilos seems reasonable. Now, something I really liked about LTU is that particular registration over here, Delta Alpha Echo Romeo Whiskey. They had that on one of their L1011s, on an MD-11, and later on an A330-300s. So they basically carried that registration forward every time. If any one of you knows why that seems to be a special registration for them, Do put it in the comments below. I'd absolutely be interested in that. So, beautiful Mallorca. Even though in the real world, especially at this time of the year, it's not that green anymore. It's basically rock that we are flying over, not green, and certainly no forests. At least not green forests like we see them here. This entire look of the island here seems to reflect a little bit more what the island looks like in springtime, rather than in prime holiday time in late July, early August over here. But well, we're getting there. So, joining the Bay of Alcudia. And we can go ahead and continue our descent now. 4,500 is the next restriction.
Altitude.
Idle climb 4,500. Man, I've flown over this bay so many times. That must have been hundreds of times that I've flown over here on the 737. And actually, somewhere down there used to be a hotel where I've been on holidays. That was 2019. Man, time's flying. Quite literally. Well, on the other hand side, if we're thinking back, that aircraft like this... What's it doing? Where is it pitching? Well, you go to idle, my friend. If we think back, that aircraft like this, which are absolutely modern aircraft, for my understanding, are out of service for, well, years already. 20 years by now. That's quite incredible. It's really quite incredible to think about all this. Time flies. This one was phased out in 1998. This particular airframe over here. Sold to Swiss at that point. That was interesting. Little lack over here. Right, we might have to help the airplane a little bit here. Let's do 2/3 speed brake. So, the ILS signal is looking good. Land down, localize and glide slope capture. Go around altitude. 3,000 feet set. Slats extend. Speed checked. So, is the dot reducing automatically? Probably not, huh? Okay, speed brake up. So, speed 210. And I forgot to dial in flaps 15 again. Here we go. Okay, looking good. Set QNH. QNH 1011 cross-checked, passing 4,900 now. Checked. Approach checklist, please. System modes, auto, altimeters. QNH 1011 reading 4,700 now. Checked. Approach checklist complete. Alright, so welcome to Palma. They have pretty high speed restrictions over here. Looking for 210 until 12 DME, then 190 until 9. So let's go flaps 15. Okay, approaching 12. Let's go down to 190. Let's see how well it is going to reduce. Should probably have done that a bit earlier. Well, we were busy. Doesn't matter. So, next up is going to be 9 miles. with 190 knots, and thereafter 160 until 4. Well, 160 is almost the approach speed, so that's not gonna matter. Okay, let's dial it down. $160. And we're approaching 9 miles. I'll keep the autopilot engaged for now, because this can be a little bit turbulent at times, and I don't want to be completely busy hand flying the plane. Checked. I don't want to be completely busy hand flying the airplane while we still have to read the landing checklist. Radio altimeter comes in a little bit early, since we are flying over a couple of hills over here on the middle of the island. That's quite expected. Okay, gear down, flaps 28. And flaps 35. Landing checklist. Landing gear down, 4 green, auto brakes, medium, spoilers, armed, flaps 35, EAD checked, landing checklist complete. Alright, approach speed is almost at 160. Let's go to FMS speed now. And I think that's good to go. Alright. Autopilot off. Auto throttle off. Let's make it a good one. Those holiday makers are always rather critical. We might even have a couple of flight simmers on board. Well, we're at that time, 1998 over here, we might probably rather have a couple of aviation enthusiasts on board who are going to be rather critical of our landing. So we better make it a good one. Checked. Remember, the radio altimeter can be a little bit out of place here, since it's currently, or rather since it seems to be currently based on the height of the nose wheel instead of the main wheel. So we got to flare it a little bit earlier. Let's say flare at 40 rather than 30. If I'm looking outside the flight deck, it looks to me like we're a little bit offset. More like we're aiming towards the puppies rather than the center line. Even though the glide slope over here seems, oh sorry, the localizer seems to indicate that we're a little bit to the right of the center line actually, but I don't want to believe it looking outside. Well, we'll get there. But we're definitely left of center line here. Localizer doesn't seem completely right.
400.
So this looks more like it on center line.
300.
But you can clearly see the localizer deviation there. So approaching minimum.
Minimum.
Continue.
200. 100. 50. 40. 30. 20. 10.
Alright, that was better. So, speed brake up, thrust was normal. Decel. Approaching Sierra 2 over here. Manual brakes. Auto brake disarm. Alright, welcome to Mallorca. So that landing was more like my taste. So, starting a timer here for 3 minutes. And now we gotta make that steep turn to the right. That's gonna be a challenge once again. So, speed down to 10 knots or less. And now let's give it a shot. Let's see what we can do. I think we'll be alright. Bit of thrust. Nah. I need a bit of differential braking here. Look at that, that's a full tiller input. This is not correct. And this is now full tiller with differential braking. But look at my engines, running at 55%. Not supposed to be like this. They need to work on that, that's for sure. But okay, after landing procedure. Ground spoilers retracted, slats and flaps. Going up, weather radar and transponder. Off. And alt off. Okay, auto brake. Going off. Stabilizer trim. Gonna go to 3 units nose up. Here we go. Okay, approaching the next turn. Okay, Juliet over here. Alright, lights are off, and with that the after landing procedure is pretty much done. Let's go ahead and start the APU. Rather early than never over here. And now stand 54s over there. Man, that lag when GSX spawns is just... Oh well, let's not start swearing about GSX again. Right, approaching the gate, lights are coming off. And this is looking good. Come on, Marshall, what are you doing? That's looking better. Even though these are not correct signals there. This is not how you would tell me to, Oh well. I just said I did not want to swear about GSX today. Here we are. Okay, brake set, APU power avail. Is it on or off now? I really don't know. We'll see. Okay, APU power on. That's good. Cabin crew, all doors in park. Okay, parking checklist. Exterior lights. Set, anti-ice off, step trim. Well, should be 3 units. Here we go. 3 units nose up, system display status. Checked, system modes, auto, spoilers, up, flap slats, up, retracted. Fuel switches off, park and brake set, weather radar off, transponder, standby, APU air on, parking checklist complete. Alright guys, and that's it. Welcome to Palma de Mallorca everyone. I sure hope that you enjoyed this flight. Be sure to leave your feedback in the comments below, and I do hope that you've had as much fun today as I did. For sure flying this MD-11 is a blast, and yeah. they're getting there. Really have to say that. They are doing a good job, slowly and steadily getting there, and that's the important thing here. So thank you very much for watching, everyone. Be sure to like, comment and subscribe, and if you really love what I'm doing, why not consider a small donation through the Buy Me a Coffee link in the video description below. Thank you for watching, and I see you all again on the next one.